welcome back to my channel and welcome to Portland. I know y'all can't see outside. I know you can't see, but it's okay. Portland is outside and I am finally here, and it was a trip, but I actually just landed, just got in the room, just got off the plane, so I need to take a shower because I actually have a tour. So once I get showered up, I can tell you all about my adventure so far. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So I got probably like 2 minutes for a story time because my tour actually starts at 2. Luckily, the tour is not too far from here. So you guys are probably wondering, why am I in Portland? But I am in Portland because this is my birthday weekend. So I decided to come to someplace I hadn't been before, and Portland was my choice. Today is actually Thursday and I'll be here through Sunday, and I was supposed to be here last night, but my plane got canceled. So I literally just got here around 12. Luckily, actually around 11:45-ish. My plane got in about 30 minutes early, which is great because it gave me time to come in here, just shower, put my stuff down, get kind of acclimated. Now I'm headed to my tour, which is not far. It is a Portland Black History tour. So I'm very excited about that. I didn't want to miss it. So that's not too far from my hotel. I am staying at the Canopy, as you guys saw. So the room, I love staying at Canopies. They're super, super cute. I wrapped that story time up kind of quick, didn't I? Probably give you more details later, but I am going to go ahead and show you guys my outfit because I need to get going. So yeah, let me go ahead and give you the outfit for today, and then we'll get in these streets. So today's outfit is this dress. I showed it in a Walmart haul a few videos ago. It is kind of seersuckery vibes. So I have that on. I am wearing it with my Dolce Vita sandals, so you know I love those. And I am wearing this brown bag that I got from Amazon. I absolutely love it. I love it so much. I am going to buy it in brown. I'm wearing it in brown. I'm gonna buy it in black, and then I'm going to take with me this bag as well because I plan on walking around. I'm gonna take a jacket.
Defensible here. The legislature never took action. It was the enslaved themselves who got themselves free. And here's the amazing part of that story. That phrase, together to conventions of the Whig Party. We had two political parties to choose from back then, like we have now. The Democrats have survived, the Whigs have not. And the Whigs were at that time the clear party of choice for black voters, for civil rights advocates, for anti-slavery.
Yeah, you got to get paid for your work.
Yeah, you just post this whole thing online.
Yeah, I'll post it.
Oh, no. Anyway, this is the third oldest black church still standing nationwide. So it's not the oldest, third oldest congregation. You're going to find those in places like South Carolina. But 1828 means there are only 2 other black church buildings that are older. And one of them's in Nantucket, one of them's in Boston. They're both called the African Meeting House. This one's different. It's called the Abyssinian Meeting House. So by the 1880s, they started a congregation. By 1914, they financed the construction of this church. He was born in Virginia, born into slavery, shortly before the Civil War. So he's one of the most recent figures on this tour, and he's probably one of the wealthiest people on this tour. He was the wealthiest black citizen in his day, but he's also one of the only people born into slavery that I bring up on this tour. He moved to Portland by the 1880s. He started a shoe shine booth at our big train station. Earning money as an independent entrepreneur, he was able to invest his earnings in other areas like real estate. And you would find black Portlanders well into the mid-19th century, much before him, investing in real estate. People like Reuben Ruby and Abraham Niles, his neighbor, would buy and sell property on the side. He started a real estate company. It was still running in the 1970s, even though he died in the 1940s. Wow. So I think he also maintained a shoe shine booth right up until then. So he was doing what he could as an entrepreneur. Black Christian population are African born, and they're starting a lot of new congregations in their native language. They'll have services like Christian language or Christian congregations in French or Senegalese or like other native languages of West Africa. Though also a lot of the African-born population in Portland are actually Muslim, so that's also especially East Africans like Somalis.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reading in the paper that where Christian church membership is increasing, it's mostly because of African immigration in Maine. Most of the growth of Christian... Yeah.
We didn't have to compete.
Let me record a little video.
Guys, it's like a few hours later. I was planning on getting on here and kind of giving you guys like just some talk about the tour and like where we ate and just a couple of things going on. But y'all, I was so tired when I got back from the tour. I've been up since 3:30 this morning because I had to get up to get ready for my flight that left at 5:50. So y'all, so when I got back, it was like almost 7. Took a shower, and then I just kind of chilled out. Like literally laid inside the bed with the towel, just like trying to cool off, because even though it is not Charleston hot out here, it is still like hot. So it's about like, I think it was like in the 80s. It's not humid here, but it's hot. But then it's also windy. So like sometimes you get like a breeze. So, but still overall hot. So I, like, by the time I got in, I was really tired. So, I'm going to give you guys more information on the tour tomorrow because I want to not rush through that. And I'm about to eat. But I did want to, outside of the tour, I went to a couple of bookstores. I did not get anything. And I don't know if this is like a Portland thing. I went to one bookstore called Sherman, and I will link that below because it is apparently the oldest bookstore in Maine. I think it said it was built in 1886. So I thought that was really cool. They had a lot of books. The problem is the books were not ordered by type. So, you typically go in a store and it's like romance, thriller, mystery, fiction, not like... This one was just, and it's weird because it's not that nothing was ordered in category. Like they actually had romance category. They had a mystery category. They had a sci-fi category, but then they just had like fiction. And every type was mixed in. So unless you knew, for me, it was just a little overwhelming because unless you knew the book you were looking for, like if you were looking for a specific book, you could look for it by author. But if you're just kind of browsing just to see, okay, what's on the shelves, what I might want to read, then it doesn't work because you have to look through every single book. And, sometimes it could be a thriller, like you could tell by the title, but so it's just a little too much. Maybe if I hadn't been like doing the tour, and like had been going so long, I would have had like the mental space to look. The thing is, I went to another bookstore, but this one is called Novel. It's like a bookstore cafe type mix, and I did not see, I don't know if it was like, I feel like they sell used books and maybe some new books sprinkled in. I couldn't really tell. Theirs was, now they had a horror section, but then everything else was mixed in together. And like I said, I couldn't really tell what was what. Everything was mixed. I was just like, whatever, it's not gonna work for me. There is another one I'm going to go to tomorrow. It's called A Print, I think. That one is nearby, so I'm going to check that one out. If that one, I'm going to do that one early in the day, so at least if that one is mixed up like that, I can ask, hey, can you like help me find some recommendations? Because they did have like a recommendation section in the first one, but it was basically all the stuff that you always hear about, and I typically like to stay away from those. Especially since I already have like a couple of big ones I'm reading. Like I have The Silent Patient on my list. I actually, I have The Silent Patient. I have, some Freedom McFadden books. I already have like a couple of books that are popular. So I did not want to read, Like that's not what I'm going for. You know, like I like people to just be like, this is a good book and not necessarily be picking from what's all over the internet. I will show you guys because I did bring a couple books with me. This one is one that I'm reading, The New Couple in 5B. I'm liking this one so far. It's by Lisa Unger, but let me tell you something about this book. This is when I'm just like, sometimes when stuff happens, you just need to get your ass out there. Like before I got to the point where I'm at right now, I'm like 100 and maybe 50 plus pages in. Too many things have happened where I'm gonna be like, you know what? This ain't gonna work for me. Like, I don't understand why people constantly like to make excuses for things that are very obvious. Like, you should just leave. But anyway, I'm reading that one. I'll go ahead and share the other ones. I done started talking. I need to get off here though, because I do not want my food to get cold. And I just ordered something from one of the restaurants that are here, and I'll tell y'all more about, you know, the restaurants and stuff like that tomorrow. The other one I bought is First Live Wins. I know this one is pretty popular too. I feel like, I don't know who recommended this to me. I don't know if somebody recommended this or I was looking for another book that somebody told me about. And this one was like, if you like this, and I think I was on Amazon, but I feel like I bought this out of a store. So maybe somebody did recommend it. I don't know, but it's by Ashley Elson. And then the other one that I brought with me, yes, I'm using my book bags. Okay, the other two that I have brought is The Silent Patient. I know this is a popular one by Alex Michaelides. And then I have An Honest Lie by Taryn Fisher. So those are the ones that I brought with me. I am probably going to just read a lot tomorrow. Well, I do want to go. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm tired. Anyway, let me show y'all the food. So I got this nice mocktail. It's called like a sunrise or something. It actually has pineapple, which I don't really do a lot of pineapple in drinks, but this one sounded really good. The other one was like a lavender lemonade, which I've had before and has been really good. But I was like, tonight is not the night. I want to try it, and it's not good. So that's that. And then here's what I got for food. I had to switch all around. I just got some wings from the restaurant downtown. Upstairs, actually, it's the Rooftop restaurant. So they, they smell really good. And then the other thing that I got was a banoffee pie. And literally the only reason I got this is because on one season of Christmas Baking Championship, the girl made a banoffee pie, and when I saw it on the menu, I was like, I gotta taste that. So that's what I got. But I will, like I said, I'll check in tomorrow. I just want to eat and chill and read. Tomorrow's my birthday, yay! So more on like the tour. I'll talk to you guys more about the tour tomorrow, and then I'll tell you my plans for tomorrow as well. So see y'all. Today is day 2 in Maine. It is Friday. It's actually my birthday day, my actual birthday day. So I am looking to really just kind of chill out today. I want to give you guys a recap on yesterday because, like I said earlier, I got here, literally had time to get ready just for like my event, and then I got tired and all the things that happen with travel. And because I'm taking this trip like really as like relaxing and not super like rigid, even, I don't want it to be super rigid. Yesterday I just wanted to chill, so that's what I did after I got back. So let me tell you about what I did yesterday. So first, I really can't remember if I said this, so if I'm repeating this, okay. I am staying at the Canopy Hilton. Waterfront is the only Canopy here. I decided to stay here, one, because I wanted to stay where like there was a lot of things that were walkable, and you can walk to a lot of things. Like the tour I did, I was able to walk to the starting point. There are so many restaurants in the area. Like they sent me this entire map that not only included things right around here, but even further out. So a lot of options to go through, a lot you can walk to. I think the tour that I'm doing tomorrow, I have to double check, but I think where that one is starting is walkable as well. That one is going to be a food tour, and I'm doing that tomorrow. Today I don't have anything scheduled. Like, there's not something I have to be to at a certain time. I am playing a little bit with maybe doing, I was thinking about doing like a train tour. I was thinking about doing like a bus tour of the city just to get me to like maybe some other areas. But I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I want to do that. Today I am going to go to, and I'm gonna have to put it on the screen because I want to say it's not what I'm calling it. Is it Fisherman Park? It's where the main it's like Portland Lighthead. It's like the big lighthouse that everybody goes to see. That Fort Williams Park. I think that's what it's called. That's where I'm gonna go today to see the lighthouse. They also have a museum and some other things, so I'm gonna go there. I think the food truck is called Bite by Maine or Bite by Maine. It's like one of the best lobster rolls. They've been voted like year after year after year, I believe, as one of the best lobster rolls. So they have multiple food trucks, but they also have one there. So I'm going to go there and try them out. That's going to be my first lobster roll. The place that I went yesterday, kind of all over the place, but y'all know how it is, DUCKFAT. Like, I wouldn't say, when we were talking, people I met up on the tour, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, they were told that that's like a really good spot to go. The tour guide said, yeah, you know, a lot of people like that. It has high reviews. But we went to the one called DUCKFAT. There is another one called like DUCKFAT Shack, which isn't like a restaurant you could go sit into, but it's like you go up to the window and you order your food. But that one has so many more food options than the one we went to. The one we went to had like a couple salad sandwiches, and they had like fries, because their fries cooked in duck fat is a big thing. They had the poutine, they had like milkshakes, stuff like that. But the other one has like burgers, wings, like so many other food options. But that one's not like a restaurant you can sit down in. You just basically walk up to the window and order your food. But that one does have like the fries, the duck fat fries. It has the poutine that's really popular there, and it has the milkshake that's really good. So I would recommend going to that one because you have more food choices. I don't really understand based off of what I ate why they're so highly rated, but maybe it was the one that we were at that had the high reviews. Because at first I was like, well, maybe people are getting the locations confused, but no, the names are, one's called like Duck Fat and one's like Duck Fat Shack something. It's like a long name, so you really can't get them confused like that. But anyway, I think that one might be a better one to go for like a food experience. I would say the duck confit, that was good. I did enjoy that. The fries were cool. There were fries. I think the fascination with that is like the dipping sauces. I'm not a sauce person, but I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I have to get these fries. I don't do poutine because the whole cheese curds gravy, that just sounds messy. I don't want that. But the milkshake, I got the duck fat salted caramel milkshake. That was great. So I would recommend, if you go to the other one, taste their milkshake. Someone else got the blueberry one that I was with, and they said that one was good too. Apparently blueberries are big up in Maine. I realized there was a lot of stuff I didn't know about Maine. Literally, like, the reason I came here is I was like, why not? But they're apparently known for like these blueberries. And then I don't know, I'll try to find the book and I'll put it here that we read. I think it's called Blueberry Style or something like that. I went into one of the bookstores and that was there, and I was like, okay, there's that Maine highlight. Did y'all also know Stephen King was from Portland? I didn't know that. But, so, I say all that to say the milkshakes were good. I like the duck confit, but I would say go to the other one if you want more food options. It's just, like I said, a walk-up window. So, I don't know what the seating is, if, like, they have benches or how you do that. But, like I said, more food options there. So, I didn't hate the food experience. I tried something that was big, popular in Maine, and it was cool. Today, I'm actually going to Becky's Diner, which a lot of people, I asked the Uber driver. He said it was good. Becky's Diner has high ratings. Now, I'm just trying to get some breakfast food in me so I have something, because I am going to have my first lobster roll. Like I said, I'm going to go to that Bite food truck that's at Fort Williams where the lighthouse is. I'm going to say the lighthouse because Fort Williams might not even be it. So we're going to say where the major lighthouse is. I'm going to go there and get my first lobster roll. Now, there's another place called High Roller, which Dugan, who is our tour lead, the people I was hanging out with yesterday, they said it was really good. And the guy who Ubered me here mentioned them. But the thing is, do I want to have lobster rolls twice in one day? So I'm thinking, and because I'm doing the food tour tomorrow, I feel like a lobster roll is going to be on there as well. I'm excited about that one because we're going to a lot of different spots. So I'll be able to tell you guys food wise, like, hey, go here, go here. But, which I guess that might have been a good thing to do. But I wouldn't want to go back twice anyway because there's just so many options here. So I am definitely getting my lobster roll from there, which I was excited to hear that there is a like different version of the lobster roll. So the Maine lobster roll does have mayo, and I am in Maine. But I'm going to get the Connecticut lobster roll, which is a butter sauce because I don't do mayonnaise. I was going to get it just to say I did it. And I had the Maine lobster roll. Was I absolutely going to necessarily enjoy it as much? Probably not. So I'm happy. And apparently the one I am getting is like the Connecticut. That's the Connecticut flavoring of it. I don't know if it was created in Connecticut. I don't know. But it's still a Maine lobster, right? So I'm going to get that. There tonight, I do want to get some oysters. They have oysters at Luna, which Luna is the rooftop bar at Canopy where I am staying. The folks I met yesterday, they were like, yeah, Luna. They mentioned Luna, and then when I told them where I was staying, they were like, yeah, Luna is like literally at your rooftop. And I was like, oh, okay. I was going to get oysters last night. One, I wanted it in room service because I was tired. You can't get that sent to your room or to go, but they were also out. So that's an option, but I don't necessarily want to eat there because, and it's so funny because another guest that was at the bar, they said that they were like, yeah, we walked in and it just smelled like sweat. It does not stink, but it just smells hot because it is a rooftop bar. And despite the fact that it's not super hot here like Charleston in comparison, the humidity is not the same. The problem is it's just hot. And when I'm enjoying food, I do not want to be eating that food in an uncomfortable setting. I don't want it to smell like sweat. Like I said, it didn't smell stank, but it just smelled hot. Like, yeah. So I don't think I'm going to go there for my oysters. I think I'm going to go to Eventide. Recommend it once again. The tour guide said that was a popular spot. So I think I'm going to go there to get oysters tonight and do dinner. So that's my thoughts. But I don't know because it could change because like I said, there's so many places. So depending on if I get other recs. But I think I'm going to go there because it looks like a really nice spot. There is like an Asian place next door to it. But it's like, do I go? I could go like get oysters and then Asian. That is a combo. But we'll see. So that is that. The tour. I did Portland by the foot and I did the Black History walking tour. Now, I thought the tour was like an hour and a half. But it ended up being like 2.5 hours. Because it was supposed to start at 2 and I thought it was going to be over at 3:30. But we didn't finish up until like 4:30-ish. But it was a really good tour. I highly recommend it because you find out so much information about Black history in Maine. And the crazy thing, apparently Maine is known as the whitest city. That's what I'm saying. I ain't know shit about Maine. It is apparently like the whitest city in America or something. Like, or Maine is like the whitest state. I mean, it's kind of far up north. Let's go. So, but even when, like back then when he was talking about like the Black population in Maine, there would only be like 300 Black people. So there really was not a lot of Black people in Maine then. But there were so many influential Black people like lawyers and doctors that not only did things in Maine, but they were so smart and big at what they did. They're doing things in other countries, other states. He even talked to me about the first Black lawyer in Maine who actually moved and opened his practice in Charleston, where I'm from. He opened his practice in Charleston because he was saying, you know, there's not that many Black people here. And there's not as many white people who will hire me, even though he was like doing capital cases. So he was getting cases, but he was saying in order for my business to thrive, there's not a client base for me. So he moved to Charleston. His law firm storefront is still there. It is still there. So I Googled it and now I'm going to have to go see it. It's based off my quick Google search. It's actually on Broad Street. And he loved Charleston so much he had his ashes sent back to Charleston. Freaking crazy. Learning stuff about Charleston and Maine that I never learned in Charleston. So that happened. And I'm going to put like his name and his picture here because we learned so many names and I was taking notes like on my phone, but also just trying to like be present. So I have like notes scribbled into like a text message that I'll be able to just put like his name because I don't want to screw it up. And then I'll put like the people's names that I can remember. Now, the thing about this history is you're not necessarily going to be able to go on Google and get a ton of information. You kind of have to do a deep dive because that's how he found it out. Like if you look at Maine resources, you might find more, but like some of these people, it's like just a few sentences, but when you dig, the mother of the Pell Grant, Miss Dixon, so crazy. She was valedictorian of her school. Her parents were Jamaican born. They immigrated there. They came here as immigrants. They worked. She was the valedictorian of her school. Literally sitting next to so many other Black notables here. She was valedictorian. She should have gotten the scholarship that Maine gives out. They didn't give it to her because they were like, we don't know if you'll be able, because apparently a part of the scholarship is once you graduate, you come back and you pour back into the scholarship. So they're basically saying, we don't really think you're going to be able to make money. Basically, you Black, we don't think you're going to be successful. So they, and I'm paraphrasing the story, hopefully not screwing it up. That's why I'm going to put a link so you can learn about her and her family. She went to like the school, and the school in Maine basically wrote to Radcliffe College, which is now a part of Harvard, if I am not screwing that up, because that's the school that the scholarship was for, basically gave her more money than the Maine scholarship would have given her so she could still go to school. And she just, like, when I said mother of the Pell Grant, she's the reason, like, she was one of the driving forces, because when you say somebody's the mother of the Pell Grant, and I know we all know what that is, but we don't know that this Black woman was from Maine, and her daughter is in politics now. Like, so many stories and connections to Portland. So I thought that was awesome. I highly recommend the tour. If you come to Maine, it is led by a white man named Dugan, but here's the thing. The type of information this man was finding out, because like I said, a lot of this stuff is not in the books. You have to like dig in the archives. You have to have a passion for that. Like you have to care enough to tell the story correctly, because he was talking about how he came to Charleston, did a tour, and the tour guide literally skipped over so much stuff and was really giving a good push for the Confederacy. But hey, we love Charleston, right? But it's so crazy. You have to be passionate about telling the story correctly, and he's definitely passionate about what he does. So don't let, because I know sometimes Black, this specifically from Black folk, when we do like our Black travel, we like, well, should we have a Black person doing it? But I want somebody who's going to do it correctly, and he's doing it. And I didn't see a lot of other options for if you wanted to do something like that. So definitely don't let that phase you. Like literally the review that made me go to him was a Black woman saying, I was a little skeptical, but Dugan brought it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go, and 10 out of 10, definitely recommend you do that. So that was the tour yesterday. Absolutely loved it. I'm going to go ahead and get myself the outfit of today. Today is going to be this white corset ribbed tank top from Madewell. I have like 5 of them. Love them. And these jeans are from Target. They're a pair of dad shorts. The belt is Amazon, and I'm wearing my Thursday leather white low, my Thursday white leather low sneakers, and I'm gonna take the same bag yesterday and then my Uniqlo bag on the side. So I'm gonna take my pink bag that I got from are going to go down there. It is very steep, so I am for sure going to be looking at the ground. So the shots here might be kind of crappy. And hopefully the wind isn't too bad. But I am not trying to fall. And there are no rails. Ah. Y'all, I made it. I didn't bust my ass. We're trying to figure out like a nice place to sit. I wouldn't mind going further out, but I think I'm just going to stay here. There's some flatter rocks over there, but I don't feel like I can like hold you guys and do that at the same time. So I'm just gonna probably hang out over here. Look at that. Shit. I'm glad y'all didn't see that. I almost slid, busted my butt. Alright. That piece of rock I sat on looked like it was flat. It was not flat, y'all. It was not flat. But this is absolutely gorgeous. I'm happy I came to Maine. Very happy about this decision. So let's get into story time. So I would have set up the tripod, but if I tried to set it up, it would probably just like kind of fall over. So let me see how I can get y'all where there's not crazy sun. But okay, so breakfast at Becky's Diner. Like, it came highly recommended. Like I said, when you look at the ratings, it's big. Like, they won some awards for best diner or whatever like that. Now, I will say this. I just went for French toast because I knew I was getting like the lobster roll and I didn't want to be like super full. So I just want like something to, you know, have in my stomach and get me going for the day. But I'm guessing they probably are known for like the lobster roll, their lobster platter. I think they have like some chowders or something like that I saw in there. And that's what the guy was telling me. I feel like that might be why they got the ratings. But like if you just go there for breakfast, it's just basic. And I wanted French toast, and then they just had regular French toast. But when I got there, they had a special, which was like blueberry French toast, which is what you saw. And like I said, they're supposed to be known for like those little tiny blueberries. But blueberries are already small anyway. But I guess these are smaller. But they weren't like, I mean, it didn't really have any flavor. Like, how you mess up French toast? It wasn't no sugar, no cinnamon, no nothing. And I know different area, you do things differently, but it literally was very soggy and not good at all. And so my Uber driver, he picked me up, so Jamaican. And I point that out specifically because yesterday when we were on the tour, Dugan was mentioning that there was a lot of like if you go to like a lot of the resorts in the area, you will find like a lot of Jamaican immigrants who come here. And he was saying he wasn't sure if it was like a continuous thing, but he was saying in the resorts and growing up there are a lot of Jamaican born people here. So that's the only reason I mentioned that, because he did say that there does seem to be some connection with Jamaican born people coming to Portland. But what was so funny is that when I was talking to him, he was like, yeah, the problem is the food don't have no seasoning. But he was like, when you go to like a lot of these places, he's like, depending on who told you to go there, that might not be the place. And it's so funny because I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, this has no flavor, no seasoning, no sugar. Like, I like flavor in my food. Now, I am going to say this. Maine is a coastal town. It is known for seafood. So I am not going to super judge Maine's food that I've had right now because I haven't had any seafood yet on what I've had. But I would not recommend Becky's Diner unless you're going to get seafood, which I didn't taste, but maybe that will be better. Because you really can't mess up seafood. You can, but you can't because it's already so good. So I am going to say, I'm not going to judge them off that. Don't go to Becky's though unless you get like seafood, because maybe that will be a better play. But yeah, he was so funny because he was like, yeah, a lot of these spots that people talk about, and I feel like that's when you go anywhere, because even in Charleston, a lot of people be like, oh, you got to go eat here, you got to eat here, and like we like, not really, not if you want that good, not if you coming for Gullah Geechee cuisine, you're not gonna eat there. That's not the place you're gonna go. Even for other cuisines, sometimes these places just get notoriety based off of tourists, but then it's like, where are you from? What is your palate? And we were just basically having that discussion. And I wish Uber had not Uber, because I use Lyft. I wish Lyft had a way that you could like request a driver, because he has been my favorite driver so far. He was super funny, really friendly, a good driver. He did say that there's not like a lot of crime here. He was like, people leave like parts of their houses open and unlocked, and like basically he was talking about like garages. Like we were driving by and he was like, you see how we're at this garage, and you know, you're driving by these houses, I leave my car unlocked. And he was like, when he goes to New York, he forgets that he's not here. So he did say like crime is very low here. It's a really chill place. So I thought that was cool, especially coming from his perspective, because perspective is always important. And it's always about who's relaying the information, because it might be good for you, but is it good for other people that don't look like you? And so I thought coming from him, especially being from a different country, him saying that he felt that way, I was like, okay, cool, that's good to hear. And he's a man, so he's black and he's a man and he's Jamaican. So 3 different areas where you typically have to deal with certain things when you go to visit areas where there's not a lot of people that look like you, or you got to deal with when it is a lot of people, because you can have a lot of you still experience a lot of trouble from outside forces. So I thought that was cool. So score 1 for Maine. Apparently y'all cool. I will say I don't feel like, and it might be a southern thing, and I always have to keep that in the back of my mind, but I'm like, if you're running a business, I'm so used to everybody when you walk up or you leaving a place is hello, good morning. And it like sometimes I walk out of the elevator at the hotel and they just look at me and it's like, hi, good morning, and then it's like, good morning, and I'm just like, you're working at the hotel, like your job is hospitality, and you don't say anything. But it's not everybody, because like sometimes, you know, I walk in and the people at the door will speak. So I don't know. I just feel like when you're in the hospitality industry, doesn't matter where you're located, your job is to be super friendly. So but that's that. Other than that, he did mention Orchard Beach. And he was like, if you want to go, if you want to, you know, find where the black people come when they come to Maine, that's where they go, he said. So I'm like, okay now. But it's actually not far from here, so I might check that out today, because I will not be out here that long. We've seen the lighthouse. They do have a museum, but it's like this big. And it's like a $2 fee, which is nothing, but I don't carry cash. So I'm like, do I want to run my credit card for $2? And the place is literally this big. So yeah, I'll probably just chill out here some more, read up there, get my lobster roll, and probably head to Orchard Beach and check that out, and then just go back and chill, because it's still fairly early. So y'all just check out the views, and I'll check in with y'all later. Sitting over here, and sorry the lighting might not be the best, but I need to catch some shade, because it's definitely, like I was saying earlier, that's probably too loud, it's not as hot yesterday, because of course I'm by the water, but it's still sun. So one thing I did not mention earlier when I was talking about the folks that I met on my last tour, they are actually it was 2 people, 2 younger black travelers, and one of them is the owner of Green Book Global, and I'm gonna have their information, his business information linked below. And if you're familiar with what the Green Book is, it's basically a travel guide. I know this thing is loud. It's basically a travel guide for black people, but back in the day It was a travel guide for Black people to tell them where it was safe to go eat, stay, rest stops, like all the things for Black people back in the day, because of course Black folks were not welcome everywhere. So it literally went through different states and said, these are hotels that will welcome you, these are restaurants, and you can Google it. Like if you don't know what the Green Book is, it's pretty basic history. But they have created one where it's talking about where, you know, places, how is this area to be a Black traveler. So they give restaurant recommendations, you have like where to stay, where's the nightlife, all that kind of stuff. But just, you know, because when you are Black and you travel, sometimes it's like, well, do I want to go to this particular place? How am I going to be received? How do people, you know, act towards Black people? And theirs is mostly like, hey, I went to this spot, it was real cool, it was underrated, here's what I did here. So it's called Green Book Global. And I'm sure any, you know, well, I know anybody could go look at it, so you don't have to be Black, but like that's its focus, to get Black people to travel to different places. So the reason they were here is to get more people, Black people. Oh, this light is bad, y'all. I'm sorry, let me move. Is it better over here? Okay, it's actually kind of better over. Let's see. I can't sit down over here though. I mean, I guess I can, but I don't really want to sit under a tree. I'm doing a lot, I know. Y'all can bear, look. Y'all can bear with your girl. I don't really want to sit under the tree, cause yeah, bugs. So hopefully it's not too bad. Bear with me, y'all. Trying to get a little shade, but then talk to y'all too. So basically, they are here in connection with the Maine Tourism Board to actually get more Black people to travel to Maine. So they're working with, you know, Maine's tourist board and just checking out a bunch of places. So they've been here like pretty much since the beginning of the week, like Sunday, Monday, early of this week, and they have done a lot of different things, but that's their purpose, because show you guys what I got. I had a really good time. The lobster was actually good. I think I said this, but I am not the biggest lobster person. Like, I always ate it growing up. Like, my dad would let us pick our lobsters or whatever, and that was cool, but I'm not like the biggest lobster person. But the lobster is very good. It's very sweet. It was not rubbery. So I do recommend Bite into Maine. They live up to their name. They are doing the thing with what they do. And like I said, I got the Connecticut, and I got the small one. There's a 4.5 and then there's a 6. I got the 4.5, and that was definitely filling for me. So you can do that as an option, especially if you're not a person who's like into lobster and you're just trying it for the first time. The 4.5 is really good. It's a good portion, and it comes with chips. And their ginger beer was actually good. I kind of wanted to go back and get another one, but I also didn't want to have to carry it around. So after I left there, I did talk about going to Old Orchid Pier, but from there it would have been, unless I wanted to wait for like an hour, an $80 ride. So I don't know if it's just because maybe it's busier, or maybe because it's like on the other side of where I'm staying. So it's kind of like I already went to Fort Williams and that was on one side, and it's like you're going to the other side of Portland, like a different area. So I might do that tomorrow. I definitely think I'm gonna go to Eventide tonight because the couple that sat down at the table when I was at the park, they mentioned that they went to Eventide yesterday and they said they really, really like the food there. Because when they asked how I thought about the lobster, I was like, it was good. Like, because it was very good. And they were like, yeah, it was good. But they were really excited about Eventide. I think the thing about the lobster roll is it's very good seafood. And I like very good seafood. So I feel like where I'm a big oyster person, I would have been like, if like that oyster, like the oysters I'm gonna eat, if I'm like, oh my god, they're the best things in the world, some people might be like, okay, it's just an oyster. And I feel like, you know, the lobster was definitely good. Like, it was cooked well. It's the way a lobster should be cooked, and it's sweet and it's juicy and you get all of that. But they seem to be really excited about Eventide, and I think they got lobster there too. They mentioned the lobster there was like a brown butter lobster, so I don't know. I might have to go get lobster again today. I did pass High Roller. When I went past, it wasn't super busy, so I don't know if, like I said, a lot of people said to go there, but maybe because it's still a Friday, maybe it just doesn't get busier during the day. But it was not that crazy over there. There were people, but I was thinking there might have been like lines. But even at the park, there wasn't huge lines either. But once again, it's a Friday, so it could have just not been busy. But they were moving people out. You know how sometimes they talk about popular places? Like, for example, when I went to Becky's, they actually had a good bit of people sitting outside waiting to get in. So I kind of just figured when I went up to this food truck, there's going to be like a line a mile long. And it wasn't. So they're very quick. The food was very good. So I recommend it. I might do High Roller. I definitely think I'm going to do Eventide. I want to kind of chill out for a few hours because I left pretty early today. So I did want to show you guys. I went to a print bookstore. And what I found out. So basically here, because when I mentioned, when I asked her about like horror, thrillers, mystery, she's like, well, the thrillers, we don't have a section for it, but she said they're mixed in with the mysteries. And then when she took me over there, I saw a lot of the thriller books that typically where I go to bookstores are in a thriller section. And she was like, yeah, they're all a mystery. Like, she showed me the section, and a lot of books that I read that are considered thrillers, like at the bookstores back home, were there. And so when I mentioned, oh, I'm so used to seeing them separate, she was like, really? I was like, yeah. So I was just so confused at the other stores, but I'm glad I asked her. But I do think the other stores were a little bit different because even the few thrillers that I was able, like just the people that I knew, were mixed in with like all nonfiction books. And the horror section they had wasn't that big. This one, really good bookstore. She was really nice. She actually does a horror book club, and she loves Stephen Graham Jones, who, you know, if you guys watch my reading videos, so if you don't watch the reading ones, you're probably clueless. For all my readers, Stephen Graham Jones, the Indian Lake trilogy, she loved it because she was like, JD is my favorite final girl. Who is Jay Daniels, if you haven't read the books, but she was saying she has a horror club, and I bought a book by him, and she was like, she really liked it. It's completely different from the Indian Lake trilogy. And I was talking about like the long chapters, and she was like, yeah, I get you. But she said this one is completely different from that because that one's more slasher focused, and this one is more like mythology, folklore type book. So I'm excited about that. So I'll show y'all what I got. I only got 4. I don't know why I thought I got more than this, but I got 4. And in true my fashion, I gotta read them in the order that I found them, because that's what I mean, read them out to you guys in the order I found them. But the first one I got, I was really actually excited to see it because I knew the book had come out, but I'm surprised. I think what surprised me is that it was in paperback, because I feel like this book just came out. Yeah, it just came out this year, and I am not used to. But you know what? I can't say that because I feel like maybe it's just up to the publisher. Because like I will see a lot of new releases and like romances, and they're like a lot of them come out in paperback. Where I feel like a lot of the new releases I see like in thrillers and horror books come out in hardbacks. That's just like my little observation. But this one, I was surprised it was there, because one, I knew it just came out, and I was surprised it went softback, but it did just come out this year, and I talk about her in my June book wrap up. So I was like, I'm gonna get another one of her books because it's not the same themes as the other one. I love her writing. My heart was thumping when I was reading her book, but it's the themes. The book is called When No One Is Watching, so definitely check it out. I did enjoy it, but her new novel, which is her second thriller, When No One Is Watching, was her debut thriller. This one is called One of Us Knows, and it's a thriller by Alyssa Cole. She actually has a quote by Sean Delan, so okay, compulsive, entertaining, and thought-provoking. So that is here. Basically, I'll read a little bit from the critically acclaimed and New York Times bestselling author of When No One Is Watching comes a riveting thriller about the new caretaker of a historic estate who finds herself trapped on an island with a murderer and the ghost of her past. So I am definitely excited to read from her. She doesn't only write thrillers, so if you're somebody... We good. If you're somebody who likes, I think her other books are like fantasy, I believe. She's written like a lot of those. So she has a lot of other books. So if you want to check her out, but you're not a thriller person, you can read something else from her. But I think it's like fantasy, romance, or something like that she typically writes. Y'all know I had to do it. The fourth book in the Thursday Murder Club Mystery series. I was like really trying to wait to get this, only because this is the last one that he's written so far. This one came out like last year, I think, and he has been dropping these books every year. Like, I think the first one was 2020, 21, 22, 23, or the first one was like 21, 22, 23. No. It had to be 2020 because this is the fourth one. So 20, 21, 22, 23. And this one came out last year, and I really was like, I don't know if I want to get it now. I guess I don't have to read it now, because after I read this one, I'm literally waiting and saying, can you put out another book? She also told me this one made her cry. And I asked her if it was because of something that they talk about in the third one, because I was already in the third one ready to start crying. So if you know, you know. I'll talk about that one because I just finished that one this month, so that'll be in my July wrap up. But y'all, I love these people. Like, I literally want to hang out at this Cooper Chase retirement community because they are just so amazing. So if you like mysteries, this is mystery. This isn't thriller in the sense that it's gory. People do get taken out, but this is not like horror, or it's not like thriller where it's like, I can't even say that because people do get kidnapped, but it's just a different vibe. So yeah, for the dress we have Abercrombie. It's the Mara linen vest, I think that's what it's called. Of course it'll be linked. I have this one. They do have it in a couple of different colors. I have my A New Day slide. They have a cute little gold buckle. They're like mules, so they have a little heel on it. They do actually have these shoes in just like a slides version if you want that. I have them in black and cream because I love them both. And then I have my black bucket bag. This is actually a real leather bag. It is from Abercrombie. Amazon. So I have this one. I also have it in cream. So of course I really like it. And this is the outfit for tonight's dinner. Dinner at Eventide was amazing. I wanted to go ahead and talk about it tonight before I forget all the things I want to say. So the first thing is I went there, and it is a very small place. So if you want to go there, just keep that in mind. Inside there are literally like only 1, 2, 3 tables in the inside, and then all the other tables are outside, and there's only like maybe 4 or 5 of those. And then outside they have like a bar with a bunch of different stools, and inside they have 2 or actually 3 areas with stools. So they have one across the front window in the front part, the back, and then at the bar. So there's not a lot of seating space. I think it does say you can make like reservations for parties of like 6 or more or something like that. Those are the only groups they take reservations for. And then everything outside of that is like walk-in only. So, like first come, first serve. So definitely just keep that in mind if you're going there. I ended up sitting at the bar, but it wasn't bad because I was at the bar in the corner, so I had like a lot of room. I had 12 oysters, and you can see by the video, like I tried to take a picture of the names. They were all amazing. The marinette sauce, that's the only one I do on my oysters, and it was very good. Very like vinegar, like that, it hits you, but so good. Then I got the clam bake, which I've actually never had, and I just realized today that I've actually never had a steamer clam. So like having to take it, like the little sock off, like she called it, off. But that was really good. It came with a lobster tail. I actually enjoyed the lobster roll meat more than this one. This one felt more like what I typically get when I get like a steamed lobster. I did not get the lobster roll from there because I had one earlier, and I'm probably gonna have like 1 or 2 on my tour tomorrow. But the clam bake was good. The mussels were just okay to me. I really like to eat mussels a lot, and I usually do mine in different sauces. So these were just steamed. Still good because you dip them in the butter, but like the clams were the best thing in that. It also had like some salt pork. I wasn't too much of a fan of that. It was a little too salty for me, but other than that, it was great. But like I said, those like steamer clams were the best. So if you can just get the steamer clams, I would say just do that. I did like, they had like a scallop special. I got those. Those were okay. And so the oysters, amazing. The steamer clams, amazing. And then I got an Oreo cookie sandwich, and oh my gosh, it was so good. So good. It did have dark chocolate in there, so when you and it was a real dark chocolate because it was very bitter, but it worked with the ice cream because I'm not a dark chocolate person. It works with the ice cream and the cookie, so very good. I also want to say, to my point earlier, I think I mentioned like the hotel staff not seeming super friendly. So I was talking to the girl down there today, and like she was really nice, and so maybe it's just, I don't know, because I feel like you're still supposed to, when people walk in, like hello, but like she did what I expected. Like you walk in, she was on the phone when I first came in, but when she got off the phone, like she made eye contact, said hello, and then I had some questions to ask, and she answered them, and then she actually like went into like gave me more detail. So she was super nice. Like she started conversation, was giving me recommendations for what I had asked for. So I don't know. It's still a different like vibe, but she was cool. So I guess maybe those other ones are just not super charged. But I'm like, you're in hospitality. But anyway, I wanted to say that. So definitely recommend you go to Eventide. Good morning. So here is the fit today. I'm just wearing one of my favorite essential tees, just from Madewell, in white. This skirt, cargo style skirt, is actually from Walmart, and it actually has like the pulls on the side, so if you wanted to scrunch it up, you can. And of course, my low cut white leather shoes from Thursday. I do have on this belt from Amazon, which I'm realizing I need a more casual belt, but we're just gonna let it go today. And then my Uniqlo bag I'm taking. So this is today's look. So I have to do like a wrap up of the day because literally I did the tour and I'm gonna show you that. But I have to show you all like this crazy situation with the rain. So the entire time I was here, it did not rain at all. Like the weather, it's been hot but not humid, and it's funny because people will be like, oh, it's so humid, and I'm thinking like, come to Charleston. Like it's hot, but it's not Charleston hot, and it's not humid, so I'm good. But today they actually did have rain because it's saying it's gonna rain today, and luckily it didn't rain while we were on the tour. But I was about to go out to dinner with my friends, which I didn't like film anything, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I'll post everything about the restaurant and talk about that later. But literally, I was coming down to go walk to the restaurant because it wasn't far, and it was raining. I was like, oh, so I texted them and said, oh, I'm just gonna take a lift, and they're like, we'll come get you. So literally get off the phone and like the sky, I mean, it's just raining and raining and raining. It's raining so much that the manhole covers, like water is like squirting out of it. And the guy, like all the people who worked here just like ran into action and are like squeegee water. Like you can see the video, but it was just like hilarious. Cause I'm like, does this happen a lot? And apparently it does. But I just thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh, got some action on my trip. And I learned a new thing about these bags. If you've seen the video of these bags that they're using to like suck up the water, we could definitely use some of those in Charleston. So I'm actually going to recommend those to my aunt because she actually lives in downtown Charleston and it floods a lot, but that would definitely be able to help stop the rain coming so much like in the yard because it basically sucks up the water. So anyway, that happened. But today the tour was good. So the first place we went was called Andy's, and that's a no for me. They did the fish taco. It had no flavor. Like they have like all this pico on there and pickled vegetables and all this stuff. And I'm like, if you have to put all that on your food, then the food must not be good. And so I took a bite of it and I was like, eh. And then I ate like the pickled vegetables, which were really good. And I'm not a pickled vegetables person, but they were like onions and they were good. But like when I ate the fish, there was absolutely no flavor. And the guy was raving about these tacos and I ate them and I was just like, this is not the way you start a food tour. So Andy's is a no for me. That's the only thing we had there because we did like one thing in each spot. It was just no, like I wouldn't recommend that. But the next place we went, which is called Gilbert's, I believe, you can see it in the video. I did the seafood chowder there and that was good. It was flavorful, it was nice. The seafood was really good in that. So I do recommend going by there. The next place we went is this place called Rigby House. We did a lobster roll there. The lobster roll was good. I got to taste a traditional Maine lobster roll, which is the one with mayo. It didn't have a lot of mayo, but there was still mayo. So I didn't eat the whole thing, but it was still good. I do prefer the one at Bite Into Maine, and not because like this place only does a traditional one. They don't have the other flavor options to my knowledge, which what he was saying. But I just felt like the lobster at Bite Into Maine was sweeter. Like I felt like you could taste the lobster better, and I liked the way that one was cooked. So out of the 2 lobster rolls I had, recommend Bite Into Maine. And let's see, after that we went to like a chocolate spot. It was a chocolate truffle was cool. I'm not a huge chocolate person. And then we went to the ice cream shop. The ice cream was just like any other ice cream I had. Like, it was not spectacular. Like, I got the strawberry cheesecake, I feel like, or I think it was strawberry cheesecake. Like, it could have used like graham cracker crust. It was just basic. Like, it didn't, like, it is local, but the ice cream that I had from Eventide and that ice cream sandwich was good. Like, when literally I took a bite, I was like, this is some good ice cream. So I would recommend going to Eventide for their dessert and over like that ice cream. However, tonight we went to an ice cream place. Don't ask me what it's called. I'm gonna have to post it on the screen because, like I said, I didn't record anything. I was just kind of hanging out with my friends and I wanted to focus on that. So we did get ice cream, and I will put the name of the place. I got something called Pan Purdue, I think. It basically means lost bread, and it's a cinnamon-based ice cream. Y'all, it was so good. So I would recommend going to that ice cream shop and instead. And then there was a place that was recommended that's right next to it called Gross Confections. It's like a dessert restaurant, like dessert bar with like pretty much all desserts and drinks. I don't think they sell any regular food. It's just desserts and drinks. And so that was recommended because I asked the girl at Eventide, but then I realized what time it was. I was like, no, I'm just gonna get this ice cream sandwich, and I'm glad I did. So that ice cream shop is right next to it, but I would definitely get the name of it and put the flavor on the screen. As far as the tour as a whole, so you can get different, like the first tour I went, Portland by the Foot, that guy Dugan owns that company and he does all the tours. This one, they have multiple tour people. This guy, he was nice, but he was repetitive, and I feel like I could zone out and come back and he would be saying the same thing again. I feel like some other people on the tour kind of felt that way, and then he was like this jack of all trades, and he was just talking about all this kind of stuff, and like he would say something, and the person would be like, well, no, that's not really what it is. He was okay. So I don't know if I would say don't go through that company, but you can't pick your tour guide. So also, like I said, I did the seafood, or I don't know if I said this, but I did the seafood one. So there's different ones and you could go on different foods, but they did have other tour guides doing the seafood one. So like if you want to be able to go to different restaurants, and they probably have other like tours that do that. This one, I'll put the name of the company. Like I said, most of the places I was like, oh, this is really like, well, okay. 1, 2 the places I was like, okay, yeah, like the Chowder place and the lobster place, but yeah, it was okay. Was it worth the price? Not, because the tour guide wasn't really that interested, and I feel like maybe they can have it so that it's not like the reservations aren't so far apart, because it's like 1.5 to 2 hours, but I felt like it was longer than that. Like we stayed at the first place for almost an hour. Now granted, somebody did come late and we started maybe like 5 or 10 minutes late, but I still think like the tour needs to move a little faster, or the person just needs to be more interesting. So that's that. But I did want to show y'all what I got. I did not get a lot of, I didn't go shopping. Like I literally went in one store and I was like, I'm good, because I really had no desire to shop here. I'm good on that, but you got to get like your souvenirs or whatever. So the first store, which he did recommend, so shout out to the guy who was leading the tour, is a place that has like Portland themed like souvenirs, but by local artists. So everything in that store, everything is by a local artist. So in some purchases, you're helping 2 local artists, because it might be one person did the design and then one person actually did the printing. So this is the first shirt I got. It's actually a crop, but I wanted to get it super, super loose. So it's an octopus with around a lighthouse, and I thought that was super cool. And I guess I think that's supposed to be like the port head light. Is that what it's called? The famous one? I think that's what it's supposed to be, just because of the rocks nowadays. But all lighthouses are by like rocks, right? So it could be any of them. But I thought that was super cute. So I got that for me. And then for my daughter, I thought that was cute, because I was like, okay, I gotta get her something that's like Maine themed. And it's a lobster called Bobster. And it has the state of Maine on him. So I got that for her. Those are the 2 things I got from them. And then there was a street vendor. There were a couple of street vendors. And if you want to shop at this store, it's called the Maine Souvenir Shop. They actually have an online website, so you can go there. The other thing, there was a street vendor, and hers is called Macabre. Macabre? I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say it, but she does handcrafted cosmetics. So that's her card. And then she also has a website too. But she does like a lot of stuff like pressed flowers and seashells, and she even does painting of insects, which all are dead, and then she gets them from a company and rehydrates them, so she's not killing them. But I got this for my daughter because I thought that was super cute with a little pressed flower in it. And then the other thing I got her was these pair of honeycomb earrings that I thought was so cute. So, you know, being a baker, get something food related, but there's actually honey in there, like in epoxy resin on top of that. I actually went back, so I saw her when I was going on the Wasteland tour. I was like, how long are you gonna be here? So I actually went back to her station. Now the other things I got from another one of the stores, I got some souvenirs. So I thought this was great. It's balsam fir incense. I love this, like all the fall and Christmas scents, I love them. So I got this because I like to have the pine cone scents in my house. I got one for me, got one for my sister, and then I got this maple and oats soap. It's by a Maine soap brand. It's established in 1984, so they're 40 years old. This one smelled good. I got that for my sister, and then for my parents, I got a little moose. It's like a wood carving of a moose, and I thought that was super cute. I feel like some people don't like a lot of trinkets, but I thought this was like something cute they could really just put like on a shelf or something, and it's not gonna take up too much space. And then the other things I got for myself, I really like this shirt because it looked like a vintage. I got myself more Portland gear than I thought I would, but this is like Portland, Maine, and then it says Vacation Land. So I just thought that was super, you know, cute. A little crop. I like the vintagey look of it. And then I wanted, of course, I do like getting crew-necks when I travel. I wanted a hoodie because I got something on the hoodie that I wore here. But anyway, I'm just going to have to wear this unless I find a cute hoodie at the daggone airport. But anyway, I got like just a green Portland, Maine. Because I really wanted one that said like Portland on it. So I got that. And the last two things, so because I have one of the travel rewards that I have is that they give you a credit to use at the hotel, and it was like $100. And I knew I wasn't gonna eat here that much. Like I ate at the lounge that's here, Luna, I told you guys about once, but I didn't want to keep repeating the same place because I'm like, there are too many. Apparently there are 400 restaurants in this area, and I think he said it's like 400 to 500 if you include like fast food and like stuff like that. So he was saying on average like 400 to 450, like if you're just counting restaurants in such a small place, because there's only 65,000 people in Portland, so it's a small city, but they have so many restaurants. But so I'm like, I'm not gonna keep eating here at the hotel, even though Luna was cool, the wings were good. So there's this brand called Marin. It is a local brand, and at Hilton, the Canopies, they have like a retail wall, and I asked if you could use your stuff on the retail, and they said yes. So this brand actually takes the protein from lobsters that they use to regenerate their claws, and they use them in their products. So this is basically their hydrate, smooth, and repair cream. It feels really good. You can use it on your hand, face, and body, and it helps with like eczema, rosacea, rashes, dry scalp, bug bites, sunburn, flaking, roughness, and cracking. The ingredients are very little: marine lobster glycoproteins, hyaluronic acid, coconut oil, shea butter, vitamin E, and squalene. That's all that's in there. And it's free from steroids, fragrances, parabens, phthalates, or other skin irritants. And so I got this. I actually do have eczema, and you really only need a little bit, because when she gave it to me to test, I was like, dang, that's a lot. So it's thick, but it doesn't feel like thick to where you feel like you're gonna be hot. So it's called Marin. So if you guys want to check that out. And then I also got a lip balm. It's lip treatment and marine glycoproteins. I got the unscented one. They do have like different, like a blueberry one and stuff, but I just got the unscented one. And it said that it hydrates, soothes, and repair. And I think there was a sign that basically said a drink of water for like your lips or something like that. It said as powerful as the sea. Enjoy all day long. Leave skin quench like a refreshing glass of cold water for your lips. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that. Even though I said I wasn't gonna buy no like lip balms and all that, I was like, I'm not gonna waste my credit. So that is all. I'll check in with y'all tomorrow because I'm going to sleep. I gotta be up super early because my